All right. Well, hey, everyone. We just want to say thank you so much for tuning in with us. And just really want to start off by saying we're not new to this. We've been here before. And this is where our resilience is our resistance to our revolution. You could have been anywhere else and you decided to be with us. So just want to say thank you for giving us your greatest asset, which is your time, and that you are spending it with us so that we can be in turn a blessing to you and to see how we can best support you during these uncertain times. I'm one of the hosts, Dr. Sarah Renee Langley, CEO and founder of Lead Her International, where I'm helping C-suite executives to live, love, and lead boldly and confidently without limits. And I have my lovely co-hosts with me. I'm going to have them to introduce themselves, and then we're going to get right into it to talk about resilience as our resistance. We're not new to this. We're true to this. Please, Malika, if you can start us off. Okay, to make sure we can hear.
Okay, how about now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I am pleased and honored to be here for this discussion. There is so much going on in the world right now, and we do not want the world's circumstances to change your character, to change your heart. And so that's really the essence of why we are here today. Um, there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on, and it doesn't seem like it is on a daily basis. You're hit with things, and you're trying to figure out what to do, and should you care, and why should you care, and then what do you do once you care, right? And so that's part of why we're here today. We're going to talk a little bit about what you need to know, things you should know, and then what you can do in your own space, in your own time, so that you are not as fractured as the world would have you be. I'm going to start off with just a little bit about my story in terms of how I fit into this, right? So executive orders coming out, the change in administration. Sarah said, we've been through this. We're not new to this. We're not new to change. You know, the world is changing. Our country has changed over and over and over again. But what does it mean to you? Well, for me personally, I am a Navy wife and an Army mom, right? And so anything that has to do with the federal space as it relates to our military, as having two veterans in the family, it's gonna hit home, right? So I've been thinking about, are the changes that are happening, are they high level changes or are they at home changes, right? And there's a difference. There are things that are happening that will happen and affect you at a macro, at a high level, and there are some things that are affect you deeply, right, at a personal level. And the nature of humans is we don't see it till it's right in our face, right? So that's somebody else's problem until it hits home, until it's at our kitchen table. And that's not to, cast aspersions or say anything is wrong with that. It just is what it is. We got a lot going on. We can't be bothered with everybody's everything. When it comes to you, when it's a problem that you have, what do you do? And we'll get into a little bit more about that in shortly, with the different ways that we can approach it. But I will say that I personally, like I said, am a spouse of a veteran. I have contracts that I'm trying to get through, just like everybody else who's in the contracting space. So we got a notification the other day that something that we're planning on doing is not even going to be reviewed right now while they figure it out. So you're talking about revenue to my personal account, right? So there are lots of things that are going on that may hit you personally in different ways. But there are always workarounds. There are always ways to continue to. I'm not going to change who I am because there are things that are uncertain. Let there be uncertainty because there always will. I think it puts a light on the fact that we can't control as much as we think we can, right? And so sometimes we need that little reminder that we're not in control. It's not us that's in control, but control the things you can. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well, about controlling what you can, knowing what you need to know. I'm not saying go in with blinders on and ignore the world. And by the way, I want to set the stage as well for the 92%. For those that like, I'm just going to sip my tea and it is what it is. I hear you. And I stand in solidarity with you. For those that like, I'm going to put on my t-shirts and I'm going to go marching. I hear you and I stand in solidarity. We are all different people and there are different ways that we're going to approach what's going on. And nobody's wrong. Okay. Right. And we need all the parts and all the people. We need the feeders and we need the supporters and we need the drivers and we need the marchers and we need the congressional staff. Like we need everyone. Whoever is has a heart to serve in the way that speaks to you, right? And do the things that you know to do until the next time. So I am Malika, as in I like a Malika, and I'm the Chief Empathy Officer at Momentology Media. Momentology is an intentional framework for living that helps you to see the world right now in this moment until you get to the next moment. And that's what this is really about. That above me says, faith it till you make it, because I don't fake anything, right? You have the faith and you move forward, and you have faith and you move forward, and it's cyclical and you keep going. So I just wanted to start us off with saying that serve how you serve best, that in a way that speaks to you, but know that you're not wrong in however you feel at this moment, and we will all get through this together.
Awesomeness, momentology. Thank you so much, Malika. And so I definitely also want to introduce or have my other lovely co-host, Alethea, to introduce herself. And please feel free.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. My name is Alethea Singletary. I am the CEO of Coleman Anderson. We are a business management consulting firm, and we specialize in helping improve process and people for our clients. And just to echo the sentiments of Malika and Sarah, you are not alone. But we're not new to this. We're true to this, and so it is my task to remind you of who you are, what you're called to do, and how you can respond, and how we are meant to not only show up and advocate, but how we can also serve. Just a little context about my background. I had the privilege of serving the American people for 9 years in the U.S. House of Representatives in supporting a leadership office. So I did not work for a member of Congress. I supported all the members of Congress. And in my role and during my tenure, I had the privilege to witness our country being ushered into an unprecedented time in which which we celebrated the country's first African American or Black president. And then we also saw the rise of the Tea Party. And so it is to kind of put things into perspective to figure out, how did we get here? How did we come from being the land of the free and the home of the brave, and united we stand and divided we fall, to having a leader in office who not only does not represent the best of the American people, but he also does not unite us as a country and as a people. And it seeks to divide us and to destroy everything that the forefathers of this country built this country on, but also what our forebearers, for those of us who are people of color, worked hard to establish in this country, and to make a place for our families and our legacies and our generations that precede us, which many of us are the descendants of unfreed people of this country who became free because they fought. And so we must continue to fight, even though a lot of us are tired, a lot of us are exhausted. And trust me, I get it. A lot of us, look, we shouldn't have to, right? But unfortunately, we're presented with things that we can't control. So how do we respond? And so I appreciate just the opportunity to be here with you today. And I look forward to, just sharing in this conversation and discussion on what steps we can take in moving forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alethea. And hey, listen, I know that we're on LinkedIn Live, but like Alethea said, pretty much, and what Malika said, we're not fakers. And not saying that people come on here and being fake, just saying that we definitely want to let our hair down as well. And this is a call and response type of forum. We decided to come together. I wanted to get with my girls and get together and to see how can we join forces as a united front to be of service to you today. So this is a call and response. We're checking out the comment section. So let us know what brought you here today. What resonated for you to show up and show out in this open forum? And we understand that perhaps you may feel like you can save us so much, and that's okay. We really just want it to be more open, more free, within your discernment on what you are able to share, because we know, Lord have mercy, since January 20th, since daggone November 5th. Now see, my Philly is coming out. It's like, how did we get here? Sometimes it can be a barrage of so many different emotions right now, from surprise, shock, not really surprised, don't know what to do. And all of this is by design, to the fact that it's going to make us do something called fight, flight, or freeze on purpose, to have you to look at yourself in a place of fear and helplessness and powerlessness. And especially because many of you that are watching this right now are going through a lot of things. We're probably all going through something. At least we have all been affected in some form or fashion, from the unfortunate tragedy or tragedies of the planes, the plane crashes, the funding freezes, the forcible resignations. I mean, and then not to mention our own personal concerns that we are going through. It's like, when do we catch a break, right? And that's just a few things. Those who have lost their contracts, have their contracts rescinded, have their contracts on hold, don't know what to do next. All of that is by design, but we're here to share with you and to remind you, just like what Alethea said, to remember who you are, to remember that perhaps this may seem like this is something new and different in your life, but you have been through things before that you didn't know how you was going to get out of it, but you got out of it. And so we want to present this as a way of not being fear-based, but being power-based. And I need y'all to put that in the comment section. Like I said, this is a call and response. So I want you to put down that I am power-based. Why? Because we're doing affirmations right now. Because it's the way that we speak. I am of the proponent, I'm putting on my psychological hat on that, and this is actually a biblical phrase, that the way that we think determines how we behave. With my background being CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, because I wear many hats, and I'm sure many of you wear many hats as well. I believe that the way that you think determines how you behave. But we also got to speak a thing into existence. And instead of speaking a thing in terms of, oh my God, I'm helpless, I'm powerless, I don't know what to do, and you're looking at your circumstances and situations, I want you to look at it again from a place of power. From a place of power. And start speaking that I am power-based. So put that in the comment section for us.
I love that. I love the power-based. Can I just... I want to reflect too. There's a video going on it's on LinkedIn and other places with Reese Witherspoon, and she's talking about how when she gets a script, she inevitably looks for the part where the female character turns to the male character and says, "What do we do now?" Right? And she's just like, this happens when women are not involved in the writing of some of these scripts. And she said, "Do you know a woman that has ever not known what to do? We will figure some stuff out." And so to expand that, right? There is no politician that controls every single thing everywhere. I don't care who was in office ever. You had issues to deal with. You had problems, you had challenges, you had struggles, right? And so I want to get us from the victim mentality, like you said, Sarah. It's fine. It's going to be fine. Not only going to be fine, we are victorious. We're already victorious because we speak it into existence. You have spent your life doing things in a certain way, and as you can do a lot of things, but it's only one way to be. And so I just wanted to second on that comment that we can do hard things, right? We can do hard things. So thank you for saying that.
And thank you so much, Malika. And of course, you're going to chime in as well. I'm just going to read a couple of the comments that has been brought to us. So Tanya, thank you so much. Keisha, thank you for tuning in. Sharon, thank you. Everybody that are tuned in, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation, this open forum. So Tanya said, what a great topic. Thank you for inviting me, Malika. Tina said, happy to join us today. Manette says, I refuse to be silent and accepting of what is happening or to feel helpless, but need a focus and need a plan. Don't worry, we got you. We got you. They also said, I do not relinquish my place of power. Yes, yes. Keisha, she said, I desire to step out on faith and link arms with other females that desire to make things happen. So, hey, here you are, Keisha. That's what we're doing. You know, we're locking arms. And it's not just us as women on this. I know that we have also shared this out. So you men out there, thank you so much for being part of this collective as well. Please feel free to share your voice because it's open that way. Because again, it's in our resilience that gives us the ability to be resistant. Keisha said, hashtag I am power-based. And Tanya said, I am power-based. Thank you so much for chiming in. We really appreciate you all. Alethea, what do you have to say? What's your thoughts around where we are right now, what we're talking about?
So it's just to, just start us off, first of all, most of us were shocked that this, that this person was even able to run for office, right? Just given all of the things that we went through in 2016, up into the Biden administration came into office, and we had some reprieve. And just the thought, I think, for a lot of us, going through COVID, just the environment, a lot of the things that we went through during that time, does not bring back great memories. And so just the concept that, we had to watch someone get sworn in on January 20th, of all days, Martin Luther King's, the day we celebrate Dr. King, to now immediately feel the wrath of everything that most of us believed and knew that would happen. So the first thing is to just, a lot of us have had time to just kind of, whether we're dealing with it well, but we've had to accept the realities of what we can't control. But what you can control, and what I want you to understand, that this was revealed to me just working and serving the American people on Capitol Hill, is that the power is ultimately with you. The power, we're not just saying this, it's just not, it's not only an affirmation, it literally is with you. The American people, the people of these great United States, have the power to determine how this country is ran. But we cannot do it as individuals, we must do it as a collective. And so I want you to be encouraged to know that, you're not defeated. There is hope. But this is time for alignment and realignment in our values, in the things that we believe, where our faith stands, but also, looking, as us as a collective, as a people, to know, beyond the color of our skin, beyond our religious or faith beliefs, that we are human beings, and that we are created to do life together, and to do community together, and to build civilizations together. And the way that we accomplish this is that getting united with like-minded people, and coming together to find solutions to problems that plague us as a whole. And so as we see problems arising, it is to come together and come up with solutions to these problems. And you don't have to do it by yourself. We do it as a collective. And so I just wanted to remind people of that.
Okay, so Alethea, why are you all up in my script when I'm supposed to say? Yeah, I have to say that Malika kind of contradicted me, because she was like, we can't be in control. And, but then she helped save me. She was like, what, would you focus on the things we can control, right? So that being said, because again, we are just here to be a support to you all, as well as you being a support to us. I am a proponent that energy begets energy. So the fact that we are coming together with our energies collectively is going into 3 points that I want you to write down. You can talk back to us in the comment section, and you can let us know what your thoughts are about these 3. I like to do things for remembrance purposes, because, I just turned another age like the other week. I always like to brag about my birthday. I love my birthday, and Black doesn't crack, everybody that's on here, who understands that and may not understand. It's just the fact that is the fact. That is true. So in my 21 years, all over again, in my second 21 years, I have learned, everyone, that there are 3 things that we have to do in order for us to press through, and to remind ourselves that it is about our resilience that makes us it's our resilience that also helps us to now have the resistance to our revolution as well. And so that being said, and we want to see what things you have to share with us as well. So I'm looking at the comment section, and it's a matter of three things. So pretty much the ladies have shared it so far. One is, as human beings, I mentioned earlier how by design, this whole situation that's been coming up, it has been designed to overwhelm us. That's not the word I want y'all to write. I don't want y'all to talk about the overwhelm because it's taken away from the power base. We said that you are power based, not fear based. So the overwhelm is by design. It puts us in a space where psychologically it impacts us to do a fight, flight, or freeze. It's impacting our nervous system. And so therefore we have the sympathetic and parasympathetic. I'm geeking out right now. Where you have the one part that has us to now react to protect ourselves. So the first thing before I go into the 3 C's, I want you to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. It's normal with however you feel. We're at a place of grieving. My goodness, it's a prolonged grief, but nevertheless, it's like grief. It's like a death has happened. So give yourself grace. For if you feel like, I just don't have the power in me, I still feel helpless. Okay, it's all good there. Listen, we listen and we don't judge.
Absolutely.
So it's okay to have and give yourself that grace, but also give yourself credit, because the fact that you showed up today, you took the time out of your time to show up and to show out and to not do this alone, to not worry about, oh, I may be embarrassed. People may know about my situation. I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to be all these things. Listen, it's just you being you, who you are right now, where you are. So if you're feeling weak, it's all good, because at the end of the day, when you're weak, you're strong. When you're poor, you're rich. This is about turning this thing around, to look at it again from a place of power. And don't worry, what we're doing are 2 things in this conversation. We're planting seeds and we're disrupting some patterns to make it a little bit easier for you to receive the fact that you can give yourself grace, give yourself credit for showing up, and give yourself credit for being in this collective right now. So I'll start with the first C, and then we can have a conversation about it. The first C is human nature will have it that what we want as human beings is control. Write that down, type that in the comment section, control. And that's okay, because that's a part of human nature. We don't like the fact of not having any control. We don't want to be in a place of feeling helpless and powerless and weak and taken advantage of, because we do tend to think of the worst case scenarios. Why? Because it actually is a protective measure. We beat ourselves up like, I don't want to feel this way, but there's a reason behind it. We are so divinely designed in a way to help us to course correct, to pivot, to regroup and recenter. So yes, this may have been devastating, but just know you're not new to this. You're true to this. You've been here before. So whatever you did before to get out of situations, you can do it again. And that's where your power lies. It's in what you can control, not what you cannot. That's what trips us up a lot. We're trying to control the things that we can't. We have to focus on what we can control. That's how you get that power back. What y'all think? Say y'all.
Yes.
I'm preaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And so in the chat, right, Tanya said reframing the overwhelm. Absolutely. So what does it mean to actually reframe overwhelm? When you go outside and you see a raindrop fall, then you see another raindrop fall, then it starts raining. Do you sit there and count the raindrops? I'm just wondering, asking for a friend. Are you out here counting raindrops as they come? I'm pretty sure that's not what's going on. You call it rain. It is raining. It's a 1-word thing for what is happening, right? So right now, in the space that we're in, maybe there's a lot coming down, but it's all the same. It's all the same. No need to individualize and count all of the oppressions and count all of the things that are going wrong. Why? It's rain. What do? You find a fix. The fix is an umbrella. So go get an umbrella, right? Nice. Or you use it to to get your plants wet because the plants need some rain. You can turn things that seemingly seem horrible into good things, but you need to find out what they are. So instead of counting the raindrops and all the problems and the things that you see, how about we call it rain, call it what it is, and we either protect ourselves from it with an umbrella or we use it to water the flowers. We're going to do something good with these refrain.
Okay, look at you being all esoteric. Okay, I like it. I like it. Yes.
I also want to add that, just to reemphasize that we need to feel. I think many times, and I'm going to speak from my personal experience as being a Black woman. I also have Caribbean. Shout out to my Jamaicans and my Caribbean folk. How we are taught to, we work hard, we don't complain, and we do. And particularly as Black women, we were touting the S on our chest. We were super. We didn't cry, we didn't this, and we didn't that until we realized, the heart disease, the stress, the diabetes, all the things that comes with suppression. And as a true believer and true advocate of mental health and therapy, we have to allow ourselves and give ourselves the space and grace to feel. Grieving is a process, and so it is okay to mourn. As we mourn, like we mourn when we lose a loved one, or when life is lost. You can mourn when you lose a job. You can mourn when a relationship ends. But the thing is that we can't stay stuck. We can't stay in mourning. We can't stay in that space of feeling defeated or depressed or feeling like there's no hope. And the best thing to do is to acknowledge your feelings. But then once you've taken the time to do that, then it's time to woosah, breathe, do breathing exercises. If you have to put appointment on your therapist calendar, I encourage that, because, go do the water aerobics class, do the workout, go for the walk, have the moment. But then we have to get to the point where we can be a like mind and a sound mind so that we can come to and say, okay, this is what I'm faced with. Now, how do I get past this? How do I fight this? How do I defeat this? And so that way you can strategize. The industry that I've been in for most of my life, or my whole entire career, is no longer a viable option at this time for me. What gifts and talents, what skill sets, what relationships, what networks have I built relationships with that I can make the pivot, I can make the change, that my family can still survive in the midst of being downsized? What resources do we have? What relationships do we have? How can we barter our resources with community and family to be able to get through a period of uncertainty, but to have some certainty, to have some sense of control and direction, and also resourcefulness, because we're going to win. We're going to get past this, but you have to give yourself the moment to just be able to feel, but then not to stay there too long. Whether it's a day, an hour, it's okay to get an accountability partner. Call your best friend, call your buddy, call your basketball mate, your golf buddy, and you can say, I need to vent, or I need you to hold me accountable because I'm feeling depressed and I just feel like I can't get out the bed. So I'm going to give myself a day. I need you to call me tomorrow to check on me. Tell your friends to check on you. I am the strong friend. I am the friend that checks on, my friends, whether it be weekly, monthly, hey, just checking on you, sending a text, sending an email. But it's okay, strong friends, we can't do it for everybody. Today, it may not be your day. Right now, it may not be your period. So you must humble yourself and allow your friends and your family and your community and your church and your organizations that you're a part of to show up for you in your time of need. And know that even though you may be vulnerable, you are not weak. You are not unable. You are not incapable. You just need a moment, and it's okay to have your moment now.
Preach. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, and yes. And listen, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We are doing an open forum. This is called We're Not New to This. We are true to this. This is resilience as our resistance to our revolution. So thank you so much. I'm Dr. Sarah Renee. We have Malika Simmons. We have Alethea Singletary, and we have you. Just want to say thank you and take a moment just to, just pause and to check in with you. Thank you so much for also just showing up and showing out, sharing with us. Tanya said earlier, reframing the overwhelm. Tina said, amen, Dr. Sarah. I know that preacher, that I said that, what, I don't know. Like like my girl, Jasmine Crockett, when she was over at the Department of Treasury, she said, what, that's why she can't be called to be a preacher because she cussed too much. Now, I do secondhand cussing. It's I'll just, I won't use the words. I'll either spell it out or I'll everything but the right thing. So don't follow me on that one. But yes, this is about
we're all a work in progress. It's all good.
Listen, thank you, Alethea. See, that's what I'm talking about. My girl, she helped me. She brought me back. Like, what? We're all a work in progress, girl. Give yourself grace. I will receive that as well. Yes. Jacqueline said control. Thank you so much. Keisha said control. Tanya said exactly. We need to shift our focus. Jacqueline gave us the hearts and the laughter. Manette said working to define those areas of control and identifying what to let go. Very good. Tina gave us the claps. Keisha said, put a time on it. All right now. Tanya had also said, I have 2 accountability partners. She said, listen, I have the front end and the back end. She said, I'm taking care of all sides. Yes, yes. Sharon had also said, yes, I love checking in on my peeps. Checking on them keeps me empowered. Yes, that's how you do it. Tina also has said secondhand cussing. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm not alone. Thank you, Tina.
Can we pause right here? Can we pause?
Oh,
this Alethea, this is that tough times create strong people create communities.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find it while we're on here and put the other quote in there. Thank you, Dina.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite quotes about weak men and strong men in good times. It is cyclical. It will come back around. So thank you, Dina, for saying that. I'm gonna find it and put it in the chat right now.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we have a quote for you, y'all. Hey, Dr. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. Hi there. And Tanya said, yep. So yes, we was going to ask you what resonated for you. What things have we talked about? Because we're going to go into the second C. But before we do, just want to check in and see what resonated for you the most. Not so much about what you remember, what you recall. It's about what resonated. Because again, with the control piece, we're also looking at what we can control externally, outwardly, as opposed to first making sure that we control ourselves, our emotions, our mood, our thoughts, our feelings, our behavior. When you have that in check, then you can start seeing how you can outwardly control the things that you can't control. But if you can't control yourself, how do you expect to control anything else? So let's start doing an inside thing. We're always looking at, okay, what moves us? I always ask my clients, what is driving you today? Is faith, optimism, hope, curiosity, is that driving you? Or is fear, lack, loss, limitation driving you? Which energy do you want? Because it's going to give you 2 different things. You can't do both because then that's instability. This is about you having control right now. So if you can talk back to us, what things resonated for you in our conversation so far? Tanya said our resilience is our superpower. Thank you so much. What we're going to do, while Malika is still finding that quote, if she hasn't found it already, is talk about the second C, by which the ladies already talked about. And this is about community. So first, the C was, as human beings, we have to have a sense of control. The second C is community. Why are we going about it by ourselves? We're not, how's it go? No man is about an island. No man is an island to himself or herself. We're not designed to be all this individualism. It's like, it's almost like it's resonant or representative of sometimes ourselves. Like I would tell my clients how there's times when I find that they're fragmented, they're disconnected, they're disjointed. And so you're going about life. Oh my gosh, we're coming down. We're going through life, only like got our logic mind going through, thinking that's going to help us to survive. But the rest of us ain't going through with it. It's like, okay, we're going to lead with our mind, but not lead with our feelings, our emotions, our mood. Like Alethea said about, the feeling, being able to really lean in with the feeling so that it gives you messages. If you can look at it that way again, you got to look at this situation again about what you can't control. So lean into the emotions. A lot of times we've been taught to run away from them, avoid at all costs. But then a lot of us are walking around underdeveloped emotionally. not in touch with ourselves, but we're trying to get other people to help us to be in touch with ourselves. And we're trying to be in touch with other people, but we didn't put enough time and sweat equity to be in control or to get in touch with our own selves. So the fact that we are walking fragmented, not connected, the mind is going one way, the emotions going another, the body's going another. It's time to integrate, be in one. And so that can be representative of community, being in commune with yourself, as well as the community that you have. You don't have to go about this alone. And I get it that you don't want to be embarrassed, ashamed. You're supposed to be strong and all that. Come on, man, later for that. This is about community more than ever. If I may add, more than ever, it is about locking arms and being communal and having a sense of community. So don't worry about how it looks, because you're not the only one. You may feel like it's just me. We all say that we got some stuff going on. So you're not alone. You're in great company. But what do y'all say? Like, Alethea?
I would say also, and that your survival depends on it. When we look back at history, the different things that have happened over time, whether it be the Boston Tea Party, whether it be emancipation or civil rights, we all had to come together, right, for a common cause. And so to think that you're going to be able to survive, adversity such as this by yourself without any type of, communal support, I think that's the wrong frame of mind to approach, a challenge this big for us, as not only as a people, but as a nation and as a world. So, I really think that, we all grew up in different dynamics and understand family differently and community differently. But I would beg to say that, when you look at your surroundings and who surrounds you, whether it be your neighbor, whether it be, your spouse, whether it be, your partner, whether it be your children and your church family, you have a form of community somewhere. And if not, that now is the time. Now is the time to connect, with other people in your industry that may be facing the same thing. Other people who, may go to school with your children, who may be facing the same thing, that you are aware of, like where they work, what agencies they work with, or, if you are a business owner, like all of us are, and you're in the contracting space, dialoguing with people within your networks or in some of your organizations, associations that you're affiliated, and just really having just, vulnerable conversations about, how people are processing and what steps they're taking to do it and how you can support each other through the process.
Well said. Thank you so much. I took some tips down. I'm trying to put that in my remembrance. So wait, I have my clipboard. So I'm learning too. One thing we can't say is that, what, one of the things I've learned in coaching was the worst thing you can say is, I know that already. And if you're not learning, you're dying, but we're here to learn. And so that was great information. I got to take that down. What do you have to say?
Yeah, just what you said about community, right? So that saying, that proverb, if you want to go far, go alone. You want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together, right? So there's a power in linking arms, as you said, and going together. But another thing I wanted to say too about community is in terms of helping each other through these various challenges and obstacles we might have. I worked years ago at a Veterans Transition Center, where we were helping veterans to transition from the military to the civilian world, looking at their resume. And a lot of times our military, they come into the civilian space and they have their core set of, their MOS, the thing that they did in the military, and they don't necessarily see how that translates to the on the ground work in the civilian space. But we all have transferable skills. So Alethea, when you were just saying, hey, now might be a pivot, because maybe you just got your business up and going and you were in a space that now looks like it is shrinking and it's not going to be there, or it's being erased, right? And you think that that's it, that's all I got. Well, in like the 1800s, the then head of the patent office said, "That's it. Everything that was going to be invented has already been invented." Talk about a failure of imagination. In the 1800s, that man thought that we were done. We were done with the industry. Like everything we could possibly think of has been done, and we all know that that's not the case. So similarly for you, for whatever it is that you do, I am sure that you have a long list of skills that you can look at or relook at or reframe to do the things that you need to do to feed your family, to feel joy. Because I am very, very big on leaning into your joy and your genius. Part of what I do through the momentology method is to help people understand that they are a prism, right? It's not one side or the other. It's a reflection of all the things that make you you. And you can always find something that is both valuable to the world, pleasing to you, makes you feel productive as a productive human, right? Something that you love. So it might take a little work, but with community, with someone who sees you differently than you see yourself, you may find things that you didn't even know you could go out here and do, because you're seeing yourself as the blinders that you put on. I got to get this degree. I got to do this thing. I'm going to be in this particular lane. And somebody is seeing you completely differently. And they're like, you're so good at ... And it's something that you never even thought of. So in getting in community, you start to see better and more parts of yourself that you might not have seen because you were heads down doing the thing, being the wonderful person that you are. So I just wanted to share that the community can also help you to see yourself in a more expansive light than what you are able to see on your own.
And Melissa, I want to just kind of piggyback off of what you just shared. I remember being, as a Fed, working my job like as most of us do, head down doing, and as Dr. Sarah just said, anything that's not growing is dead. And remember just kind of realizing that I wasn't growing, I wasn't being challenged in my position anymore. And so as I started to seek other opportunities within my workspace, I started to feel discouraged and defeated because I knew I had a lot to offer. I had so much in me to give, and I was already making a difference for my organization on a day-to-day basis in the work that I do, in my innovation, in my strategic thinking, in my strategic planning, being able to put systems into place, take 300-year-old, inventory management and document management that houses units that house thousands of pieces of legislation that were made available to not only staff, but the public and actually the global community, and being able to modernize it and to digitize it and to help the government improve its processing systems. And one of the things that I realized that, there's no fulfillment in things that you don't find joy in. And so when Malika is talking about the joy of something, some of us equate it to purpose and passion. But for those of you who are faced with transition and new opportunities, or the art of the pivot, make sure you factor that in. Make sure you factor in what is it that brings you joy in your journal time, in your personal time, while you're talking to your spouse on your pillow time. Really talk about some of the things that you do, because you may need to be challenged in your perspective. And in Romans, it talks about renewing our mind. And so if we need to renew our minds, perspective. And some of us know that you were over the job anyway. You was over the management. You were over the foolishness, the things not getting done. Those of us who are in government, we know what it is, where things just kind of keep spinning and spinning. It's supposed to be done and it don't get done, but it still get paid. So we still moving forward. A lot of you are over that because you have other gifts and talents. You have other things to give in other spaces. It may not be where you've always been, but it could be completely done and can change a life. It can make an impact, a global impact. It could be to invent. It could be to counsel. It could be to strategize. But do not sleep on the gifts that you have in you and the things that you've learned over time, whether it's academic or not. You don't need a degree to be able to solve a problem. Our history is full of that. We've bought into a lot of the stuff that we're sold now, that we have a lot of student loan debts, or how to get student loan debts and things forgiven. But the art of being able to build something with your hand, you need your mind. the art of being able to show compassion, you need a heart. And so please do not think that your hobby of baking or your ability to see risk in a room it doesn't mean it equate to anything. It does equate to something, and it could be in this new season of almost a forced transition. It's also a opportunity for new growth and new vision and new innovation and refining or redefining who you are and what you have to give.
Yes. You know, I'm acting like we're on Zoom. You know how you have the reaction button. It's like, you know, it's like that and all that. Since we don't have that here, it's like I'm just yes, 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 and yes. And everyone, just thank you again for your time. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for just being you. We're hoping that this is absolutely helpful for you. Please let us know in the comment section if this has been helpful for you so far. And please make sure that y'all stay towards the end because, you know, we all have been taught that, well, when we go to someone's home, we usually supposed to bring a gift. We have a gift for you for coming to our home. So just make sure that you stay to the end so then I can drop the link to help and support you in your journey of your resilience as resistance. So make sure y'all stay to the end. And come on, we're talking about community and communal. We have 14 14 people that's on the call right now. Y'all can start communing right now. You can start following each other, adding each other to your industry, to your network. You know, make sure that you follow us. We'll make sure that we share the information with you. You know, let's keep this going. Let's expand this. Let's go ahead and grow our community. Yes or yes?
Yes. I also want to. Oh, go ahead.
I want to read off the comments real quick.
Okay, good.
Earlier about what resonated for everybody. So earlier I had asked that, and so Keisha said that that I don't have to be in control of everything. Tina said, I was just typing the theme that resonated with me was a renewed sense of healthy community and accountability within that community. Now look at you, Tina.
That's awesome.
You said that before we even talked about this. Look at you. Thank you for sharing. Minette has said, my initial response was rage, which rested in sure and fear. I'm sure in fear, feeling a deep loss of control, loss, and lack, working to pivot to optimism and vision and connection. Thank you so much for your transparency. And again, you're not alone. Just because I'll speak for me, just because I'm saying this is what you need to do, physician, heal thyself. I also got to follow the same things. Before we even got on here, you know, there's times that I'm like, okay, I feel nervous what I'm going to say. Can I really speak to the people? There's some things that I'm struggling with, but I always believe that everything happens for a reason. And Alethea and I were just talking about this prior to joining on here, that the things that we share to you with you all is things that is good for us too. Like this is a word, I'll speak for me too, you know, so we're here to help each other out and that you are not alone. So Minette, just thank you because you don't know who's on this thread that also feels the same way, but I'll speak for me. I've
yes,
been
there. Yes, been there, and it's a reciprocal thing. It's day in, day out, just depends.
It depends on the day. Today is just a what? What's the day? Thursday. Tanya said exactly. Malika did the quote: hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. By G. Michael Hopf. Those who remain. Awesome. And thank you so much, LinkedIn users. So empowering and encouraging. Embrace the pivot. Yes, Keisha, the art of the pivot sounds like the beginning of a book. Come on now. They come through with the anthology. Like, what was you about to say as we go into the last C?
Girl, I don't know. I'm old. I don't know what I was going to say. Listen here.
You better say that.
Listen. My son turned 29 today, which is an impossibility. We're gonna have to call up Neil deGrasse Tyson and ask him how a 29-year-old got a 29-year-old. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say. I specifically, but what I really just wanted to just draw in on what we were saying, because I know we're gonna get to the last C, is around the community is exactly what we're saying, to lean on folks to help us to figure out the things that we need, because we can't do it alone. And I think that's the central theme of this entire call, this entire open forum, is that we're not doing it alone. You don't have to do it alone. So I just wanted to share that. And thank you for everyone for joining, and for your comments, and for your solidarity, because this is what it takes to move forward, right? So thanks.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you. I just want to give you your flowers. Thank you so much for saying yes to me in doing this together. So Malika, I thank you so much for being a part of this collective. Alethea, thank you so much for saying yes and being a part of this collective, and that we were able to join forces and to be of help and support to the community at large. So thank you, ladies.
You're welcome, love.
Okay, and so the last C, everybody. And then I want to ask, let me just ask this now, because I have the link ready. I just didn't post it yet. I wonder if y'all want to come up and join us in this conversation. I hope that I can add y'all. I'm about to drop the link. Let me know. Y'all let us know if y'all want to come up on stage and if you want to share a few words. So just say yes in the comments, so then I can go ahead and share the link. Whoever wants to join us, if we have a few minutes and something that you want to share on the stage with us, feel free to come on up. The last C is contribution. So we talked about controlling the things you can, not focusing on things that you can't. Start controlling yourself first. It's an inside job. So then you can control the things outside that you can control. We talk about community, the power of just connection and having that camaraderie, so that you can be reminded that you're not alone and it's not just you by yourself into this thing. So that when one is weak, someone could be strong. We can pour into each other. We can help each other lift and climb. And now contribution. What I love about Malika is I like how she's able to blend the psychological component into a moment with her momentology, and that it is about the power of the moment, the power of presence. Someone put that in the comment section, please. The power of presence is about the here and now. A lot of times, and I will speak from me, Lord have mercy, I am a recovering perfectionist. I am a recovering futuristic type of person. Like, I used to pride myself on being so futuristic. Like, oh, I could be 15 steps ahead. But I was missing moments. I was missing the moment. I was too busy right now at this time on this day, already in tomorrow, already into next month, already into next year. And I was not stopping to smell the roses. But I used to downplay, like, okay, well, I didn't want to deal with the moment. I didn't want to deal with what was going on now. I wanted that escape. And we have so romanticized the escapes, and that does not give us the opportunity to tap into our power, to lean into our emotions, to extract the information that shows up in emotions. Emotion is just information, pretty much. It's not something like, okay, that's bad. Oh, we can't deal with bad and negative and evil and all of that. And so we discard it, and then we don't allow ourselves to still go through it, because it's still there. It's still there, so you might as well start leaning into those emotions. And I'm saying that to say that with the practicality and the power of presence and being in the moment, to get whatever you're supposed to get, because who you are today isn't the person that's going to be 5 days from now. There's going to be a journey between today and 5 days, that the person that you're going to be in 5 days will know what to do, know what to say, know how to be, as opposed to the person right now who may have a skewed view and not getting or have enough information to make a decision about 5 days from now. So it's about the power of presence. And so in the practicality and the moment that she was sharing, and what I love about Alethea is the fact that her practicality, she gave you some great bullet points as to what things you can practically do, in this moment. If you are suffering, the potential resignation, forcible resignation, or you have lost your contract, or you're losing your job, and whatever else is going on. She talked about connecting with other people in your industry. She also talked about, I'm paraphrasing, she talked about, how can you take what you learned and the skill set that you have, and not to dim it or discount it or discredit it, but be the best darn DAMN, the best person you can be in that skill set. There may be some skill sets that you have that have yet to be tapped into because it didn't need to be tapped into, but now the situation calls for it. That's how you pivot. That's how you look at this thing differently. That's how you course. Right. So your contribution, I want you to look at your contribution. Do not look at it as, oh, you know, I asked this in another live. I was like, well, what do you bring to the table? What are your strengths? You know, and people were like, you know, I'm great at connecting with people. I'm great at making people feel uncomfortable, you know, to make them feel comfortable. I'm great at, they just talked about anything and everything. And that's what we want to give you this opportunity to put in the comment section. What are you great at? What is your contribution? Because that contribution could be your next daggone money maker. It could be, instead of respectfully being lamenting and mourning, have your moment, but lamenting over the fact that, okay, you know, you don't like the fact that you're being forced out. You don't like the fact that, you know, the contracts will take it from you. But look at it again and look at it as, okay, you know what, how do you turn this around for your sake of your control? That perhaps that thing that you thought that wasn't even of importance is importance now. And who's to say that's your next $1 million or your next $1 billion or whatever the case is? So your contribution, I want you to now think about what can you contribute? Because I tell you the truth, it does give us strength in a sense of control. When you're like, you know what, forget the situation and circumstances, I still have control over what I can. And I'm actually going to give. I'm going to give back. I'm going to serve. I'm going to do this. It gets you out of being in the mess. And it doesn't take away from what I said earlier, being present, but it also now, like Alicia said, don't stay in that stuff for long. Get the message that you're supposed to get and use it to your advantage. What can you contribute that's going to help you in your next position, your next job, your own consulting firm? Look at it that way. But yes, contribution. What do y'all say?
I agree 100%. I just got out of another meeting prior to this, and one of the things that was shared, and I will share it here, because, you know, it's almost like a profound moment, but it's like, aha. Look at other industries, and this is just talking about from the technical piece as you are, you know, looking for the possibilities for those of you who are looking for it. For me, as a, like, you know, as consultant who, like Dr. Sarah was saying, I'm a government contractor. You know, I was pursuing government contracts. You know, I was fortunate by a negative happenstance at one point, I thought, but then I was like, okay, I get it. Thank you, God. Was that I was active on a contract, and I was in negotiation with some some prime contractors on some subbing opportunities, which we know all those type of conversations have, you know, are still in null and void. But what it did do was help me to look at different industries that I may have never thought about before to see where I can offer my goods and services to support. And then also who within my business networks are doing things that may be different than I am doing, or maybe in the same vein that I am doing, that are potential partnerships or strategic opportunities to do business together in different spaces. That person may already be in that space. You never thought about it. And in conversations, you may have heard them talk about, you know, why they may need you or opportunities in that space. So whether you're a business or whether you're a federal employee, that is being impacted by, you know, what's going on right now, that's still community, and that's still being present in the now. And so I just wanted to encourage you to think about that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on mute.
Okay. I hit it twice. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I love Japanese philosophy. There are lots of tenets of Japanese philosophy. One specifically that I want to bring to your attention is Ikigai. If you're not familiar with Ikigai, it's Ikigai. And it looks like a Venn. It's a Venn diagram of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. Right. And so in the center of that is what they call the Ikigai, your purpose for being. I think the translation in English is your purpose for being. I think of it a little bit differently. I think of it as you don't have to find that one job, that one thing that serves all those purposes. And sometimes we think that that's what we have to do. We find it might be the business that you own or you're creating. It might be the job that you have that you want to do something the world needs. You're a servant leader, right? I'm very attached to servant leaders, women specifically who are in this world to make changes. That's why I call everybody world changers, right? So you want to serve the world, you want to do something. Then there's something that you love to do. And sometimes the things don't match up, right? And then there's a thing that you're good at. You can be really good at something and not want to do it. But we are told that, hey, you're really good at math. You should be an accountant. So you spend your life in school and hard earned money to be an accountant when you really rather be watching birds, right? So when we look at all the spaces, and that's what I was talking about the prism earlier of the different reflections of ourselves. If you look at finding something that you're good at and do a little bit of that. You look at something that you love and do some of that. You find a space where you can serve the world and you do that. And then, of course, go get those coins, right? You go look and find something that pays well and unapologetically lean into that. But I just want to encourage you that there are different spaces and different versions of yourself that can capitalize on all four of those quadrants. So what the world needs, what you can be paid for, what you love and what you're good at. Be thinking about those things and how you contribute in each of those realms to make a happier you, a healthier you, a more mentally stable and regulated you. You owe this to you. If this time does nothing else for you but to recenter on the things that you can lean unapologetically into, I encourage you to do that.
That's awesome.
Well said. Ladies, gentlemen, my gosh, wasn't this great today? I want to go ahead and read out the comments. Again, thank you so much. Dr. Jennifer said, about that anthology life. I knew that was going to, tickle your ears right there, Dr. Jennifer. Yes, we know that you are. Manette had said, being completely transparent, I am 73. The struggle demands resilience. Yes. Resilience is key for your resistance and your revolution.
And Manette, 73 does not mean that you can't still be that millionaire or billionaire or buy that yacht or take that look. Don't let it. That's why you are resilient, and now you're even more empowered to take control to achieve those things.
Yes, love it. Look at that. Look at Alethea. I'll tell you the truth. Just love her. Dr. Jennifer said, "Don't add me. I'm not together." Okay. The power of presence, though. Tanya said, "The power of presence." I want y'all to put that in the comment section one more time. The power of presence, the power of the pivot. Whatever your affirmation is. Manette said, "Yes." Kenya, hey Kenya, how you doing? Stay in now. Stay in the now. Working on just being true essence. Yes. And we have emotions equal energy and motion. Kenya also said the power, and that was by Tanya. Kenya said the power of now by Eckhart Tolle was a game changer for reducing my suffering. It took the fourth reading for me to get it. Sometimes we have to be truly suffering to change from self-inflicted suffering. That's a word. And thank you for that resource. So everybody look at getting that, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Manette, and we see you, Manette, we're going to bring you on in a second. Pivoting, yes. Kenya said, I can serve with enthusiasm. Good, yes, that's your strength. That's your superpower. Keisha said, my contribution is to show you how to stay in the cold zone and not be on fire. All right now.
Right.
And Kenya also said, and enjoyment are my contributions. Tanya also said, my contribution is causing breakthrough results by helping us reverse our generational trauma to achieve unprecedented results. Yes, ma'am.
That sounds like a mission, Tanya. That sounds like a business right there.
Yes.
The mission.
Right there. Yes. Okay, so let me see. I also had we're dropping you some gifts. So if you have to go, we're just going to do a few more minutes. So if you have a few more minutes with us, please feel free to stay. I did drop down our gifts. So ladies, if you're able to add and talk about you, Malika and Alethea, if you're not able to do it, I can put in the chat. Let us know how they can reach you, how they can follow you. And if you have anything that you want to add further, I dropped this gift for you all. The gift is the link, and let me know if I'll redo it. It's an actual PDF that talks about how to navigate uncertainty and change. So it's a checklist that helps you to attend to your mind, body, and spirit. So I want you to make sure that you get that. Let me know if that link works. If it's not, then I'll go ahead and put in the actual link. And it looks like Malika had dropped in her Momentology link as well. So you can go ahead and connect with her. And let's bring to the stage Manette. Okay, Manette, can you hear us and see us? Let me see. Oh, you have to unmute. You have to mute your mic.
While she's doing that, I'll just say that the link that I put in for the gift is a link to get an audio of what I call the agreement. It's a mantra of affirmation that help you to lean into your day, so that you can be the most powerful version of you and have a power-based versus a fear-based day.
Sound coming in, another talk.
Okay, there you go. We can hear you. Hi, Manette. Thank you so much for joining us. And can you hear us?
Can you hear something else in the background?
No.
I'm hearing something anymore.
Well, please, what had you to come up on stage with us? What would you like to share?
So what I want to say is, several years ago, I was working with some young women. Yes.
You can go ahead and share as you were saying. Manette, can you hear us?
What I did is, a number of years ago, working with some, and they were bemoaning that they had not found themselves. They were bemoaning that they hadn't found their purpose and or their soulmate either. And what I told them is that, yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can keep going. We can hear you just fine.
All right, I'm hearing myself what I just said, so I'm going to keep talking. Should I start over?
If you like, we were able to hear you up to
a number of years ago. I was working, and they were bemoaning that they hadn't found themselves. They hadn't found their purpose or their soulmate. And I told them, one is that that wasn't going to happen, and two, that was actually a good thing. There were always going to be growth. If in our lives everything went exactly how we planned it, exactly how we thought we wanted it to go, we would miss out on so many opportunities for growth. Many people we would never have, opportunities that would never appear. In the same way, if we didn't have that we certainly didn't want, we would never go into our full capacity and our full power. And I know many times in my life I've had to pivot. I thought I wanted to be, what I thought I wanted, and all this kind of thing. And with everything going on, I'm kind of not having a lot of time these days. But what I do know is that constant growth, constant opportunity. There is constant. If you keep your eyes open for it, if you keep yourself just in somewhere, and to messages we were given that limited us, we had to strive to overcome them. That this, like you said, that resilience is the foundation. Resilience is the foundation aspect of ourselves to develop.
Well, thank you so much, Manette. And for what you gather from what you were saying is that, what resonated for me and what I was able to hear was about what limit. So I'm the limitless lady. I love, being limitless. I am limitless. I am fierce. I am me. And so when you mentioned about limitations and what limits us and how we have to go over that to get pretty much to the other side and to not let limitations hold us back, but to be limitless. So I thank you for sharing. That's what resonated for me. Ladies, anything else that resonated for you from what Manette has said?
Yeah, Manette, what resonated with me, it made me think about, sometimes when we're presented with situations like now for some of us where, my 20s, 30s, it was nothing like to buy something new, do something and make those changes, make those pivots, right? And try new things, new jobs, whatever. But as we get older, we get mature, and those of us have certain goals, retirement, this, that, we paid things off, and we had this plan, right? But then this happens and it's not going according to plan, right? And what it made me think of like you said, with that resilience, how that thing that comes that you think comes and causes the chaos, that storm, that tornado that comes and just wreaks havoc in your life, how you find yourself getting up after you acknowledged it, after you've had your feeling, and then you're like, well, can't do anything with this, on to the next thing. And then you find purpose again, you find that thing. And it made me think of even, even thinking back, sometimes we're going, right? We're not in the now. We're thinking about far ahead, like Dr. Sarah was saying, but maybe even it's going back to our childhood and thinking about that thing. What did we say that we wanted to be when we were in kindergarten? I want to be and thinking about the innocence that you had then and looking at life now and saying, I've done so much. Let me look back. Let me take it back. Or as some of the young folks say, check your receipts. Let me check my receipts and see all the things that I've done. Do I want to be that painter? Do I want to, travel the world? Do I want to just, and really being able to tap into the resilience? And then you may find yourself teaching something that you never thought you would teach, or exploring something that you never thought it will bring you joy and gives you some type of resource and income, doing something different because you let go of that plan and you shifted and you pivoted, you embraced that thing that you couldn't control, and you found a new path and a new goal and maybe even create a new plan for you, coming out of something that you never thought would, maybe even something you thought would destroy you, really is giving you new purpose and new meaning. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yes. I had a colleague who went on a trip, and some of us are travelers who are very regimented and we like to do things. We have an itinerary down to the 15-minute mark. And some of us want to just go and explore and see the things and do the things. And his partner he's with, they're like, we got this regimented, we're going to do this first and we're going to do this. And they went on a trail and then something happened. It was a down tree and they couldn't go the way that they were going to go. And so they could have just turned back around and went back down this long mountain because they couldn't go the way they were going to go. And then for some reason, he decided to go across the tree and walk and just go a different way. Now, some people say, well, follow the road and the rules, right? But he went off path. And because there's something bad happened, meaning this down tree and they couldn't do it, he wound up going up this other side of the mountain and he saw a golden eagle. A golden eagle, like a rare bird where they were. He would have never had that experience had he not gone off path. He would have never had that experience had a bad thing, the fallen tree, not have happened and blocked the road. So we never know what things are around the corner or what happened. We coulda, woulda, shoulda all the time. I should have done this. You don't know. You don't know what eventualities. I'm a Marvel girl, so like I think about the Spider-Verse and the multiverse. Like there are all different eventualities and potentialities of things that could happen if you but keep the spirit of adventure, if you keep the spirit of discovery. So that's the only thing. And that is the way that I kind of heard what you said as well, is that, hey, you never know how that wrong thing could be just the thing that you needed.
Yes, Manette. Thank you so much for joining us on stage and sharing your wisdom with us and just being your presence, just being here with us. So thank you so much. What we're doing, we're going to wrap up now. I'm going to drop you back into the thread with the rest of the ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much. And we hope to see you again soon. All right. So everybody, thank you so much. Here's your homework assignment. What were the 3 C's? Okay, everybody can talk back to me. Who remembers the 3 C's? Y'all can put in the comment section, or Malika and Alethea, you're not exempt. What's the 3 C's?
Control, community, and contribution.
Yeah. Malika said it.
Yes, control, community, and contribution. So your homework assignment, everybody, is to get that journal, is to write down. It's one thing for it to mean what it means for us. It's another thing for what it means for you. So take your journal. If you don't have one, go get one. Gonna be a lot of writing this year. So go ahead and get that journal. Get like 5. And I want you to write down what were your takeaways in terms of contribution or control, community, and contribution. What does it mean for you? What resonated for you? Because that's what is going to lead you in your energy on what you need to do. We're teaching you on how to really trust yourself from within. That's going to lead you to your next, to your resilience. So take the great nuggets that you received from us today. We thank you for your time and what you have imparted to us. In turn, get your journal, write down control. What does it mean for you? Community, what does it mean for you? Your contribution, what does it mean for you? And how will you execute those 3? And talk back to us. Again, follow us. Malika, how can they find you? I think you hit it twice.
I will drop my additional information in, but I already dropped my link as well.
Okay. And Alethea, how can they find you?
Yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn at Alethea Singletary or at Coleman Anderson, LLC. And just one more thing, I wanted to encourage all of those who are federal employees who are being impacted by the freeze. Please, you have to advocate for yourself, know your rights. Do not sign anything that you do not feel comfortable with. If anything fails, you just seek legal counsel. There are universities that will have pro bono services. Depending on where you live, you may be able to get that through your city, local jurisdiction, in your township. Also, please reach out to your members of Congress. For everyone on this call, whether you are a business owner, whether you are a federal employee, or whether you're just a regular constituent that do not like what you see, what's going on, they are there to serve you. I don't care what party, what side, Senate and House.gov. You can look up your local representative on that website. And also, please contact your state representatives as well. Please, because it's not just federal. This does, states also, some states are following some of the precedents that are being said. So please advocate, 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 and never give your all, for someone else's dreams. Now is the time for those of you who have this opportunity to pivot. Now is the time for you to take control and own your dreams and own your autonomy over yourselves, your incomes, and what you do moving forward.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Alethea. And I dropped in the app. It's called 5 Calls. So you can have that be your contribution, your way of control, and your sense of community. You can check that app out. But then make sure that y'all follow us. We'll make sure that we follow you. And again, thank you so much. If you feel that this was helpful, let us know. And also let us know if y'all want to do this again sometime. So this is Dr. Sarah Renee Langley, CEO, founder of Lead Her International, helping you to live, love, and lead powerfully and boldly without limits. Malika?
Yes, thank you, Malika Simmons, Momentology Media. And I am you can reach me on LinkedIn. Please send me a LinkedIn request, World Changers. I am here for you. Thanks.
And Alethea, once more.
It's Coleman Anderson, and I can be reached on LinkedIn, IG, or Facebook. Coleman Anderson, LLC. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Y'all have a great one. And thank you so much for y'all time today. Be limitless. Bye.